Welcome back to Crew Engine Gaming. So today this is gonna be part 2 of working on the gutless cutlass. Yeah, we'll get it mostly repaired again. And all we got left is the suspension. We got a lot of it, like in the motor and all that. We got a lot of that stuff done. So that's not too bad. I'm feeling confident that, we're getting where we're supposed to be. It's not gonna be too bad. I mean, it went together pretty okay. At least the motor's halfway back together, I mean, yeah, there's gonna be suspension parts and what have you that we still gotta buy, and all the, pretty much we're gonna buy a custom gearbox and all that made for this motor. So it's gonna be like 100% performance out, the best parts that I can get. So I figured, you know what, we're gonna be making it. Why not? Make it look fast, make it look cool, make it look fast, which isn't, too bad. And you got brakes and you got performance brakes and all that going on. So I mean, it's working okay. I mean, we got all the parts back together that we needed. I mean, a lot of them we were able to repair, but certain things are just too bad, obviously. But I mean, it's not looking half bad. We got most of the motor together. Suspension, well, we have parts here and there that, a little bit. Of course, you ain't gonna have no tie rods or anything like that, 'cause you can't repair those. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty much it's pretty straightforward rebuild. It's a straightforward teardown. Now it's a straightforward, everything's got to go back together. Kind of like him. There we go. There we go. Thumbs up. That's a little problem. Just a little. Okay, still none of that when it's down. That means we gotta lift it up. I mean, but it's mostly in the front, mostly together. So, where do I gotta put the motor? Not a lot. I mean, we're gonna need an oil filter, oil pan, all the caps that go with it probably. I don't even know what I have in my inventory to even rebuild this. Well, apparently I didn't have those. So that's about what I thought. We're gonna need all the caps, piston rings, everything to, basically put together and make sure she gets rebuilt. And then once she's rebuilt, then we're gonna get her painted. The color scheme that I got for this is gonna be really, really good. But, it's gonna look super nice. And we're just gonna do what we have to do it. But I mean, the body at least, kind of came out straight after, did all the body work. Now the only thing we got left to do is motor, suspension, interior, and put the body back together. All which will take, not that much. Especially, started like this. It's going pretty fast. At least for me. We already got the steering rack installed. I mean, that's not... Ooh, we had one of those? Are we able to repair that one? I'm not sure. Probably gonna need to put some springs together so we can get all that built. Need a sway bar. Okay, I mean that's not too bad. I mean, you still can't, repair them, but it's looking pretty good where we're at. We got a lot of the parts that I didn't think we would be able to repaired, so I wasn't sure that I was going to walk away with that engine block or anything like that, so, me being able to just kind of proves that it's kind of easy to do, just time consuming mainly, but, I mean, everything's rebuilt. We got suspension going back together, which means the whole front suspension will probably be together. Once we get the shocks built and put all the rubber bushings in, the front end will be pretty much complete. And then after that, then it's just the rear suspension, which is the simple rear suspension, plus the exhaust. Once you get all that put in, I mean, the car's basically done. You know, besides like body, interior, you know, license plates, and, you know, all that stuff. You know, everything besides all that is done. But yeah, it's not going too bad. Find the tie rods, and then you know, we gotta get those installed, and then after that, we're pretty much done. I don't know what else I have in inventory to rebuild this car, but we're using some of the stuff that I have in inventory to rebuild it, which is fine. But I mean, it's like, you know, saving us some money right now for certain things, at least. I don't know if I have those or not. Can't remember. I really can't remember if I have those or not. I hope I do. Do I? Do I not? Yeah, I guess I did. Then we just got the springs and all that to go into the front. Okay, so we got all the, you know, we got most all the parts we need really for this thing. I mean, it's gonna take some time to get, you know, certain parts, like, you know, certain suspension arms and whatnot we could be missing. But, you know, if we're missing, you know, a certain part, it's fine. Like, I'm okay with missing, you know, whatever part we need, but it's just gonna take time, you know, and I'm honestly surprised at how much it took to actually, you know, just repairing stuff. That's all it took to really get this thing, because we got most of the stuff repaired. Some stuff we couldn't get repaired, like the tires. We can't really do anything with those. We have to change those. Rims, we repaired as many of them as we could, so I think we might have to buy one or not. We had to buy one or not. We should have dang near everything made for this car. Like, we have a lot of it that came off of it when we tore it down, so I mean, I think we're gonna do performance exhaust all the way from front to back. That's really the only way to do this car, right? You know, we're gonna, you know, if you're gonna performance it, you might as well do the exhaust front to back, and then we'll put a performance fuel pump in, and we get the tank in. So that'll be done. We're gonna do performance pistons, performance everything in the clutch so that we can. There's only one part that is, like, you know, not performance, and that's, I believe, with the release bearing. Which, you know, it'd be the same either way, so you might, you know, which is fine. But, you know, put all the performance stuff on that. Accidentally closed out of it, don't know why that happened, but it's okay. There we go. I'll put the performance clutch, all that stuff on. Then once we put the release bearing on, all we gotta do is get a transmission, put that in, and then it's pretty much, you know, done. Oop. I got it. No. Wrong one. That was a wrong click. It's okay. We could go purchase that, and then, you know, a little bit later, but the main part that I wanted to get was most of the suspension in, and then, you know, get like your fuel pump, tank, get all that underneath stuff done. The exhaust, we can do last, you know, like when we're doing the tires, we'll do that last. Other than that, I mean, that's really the only thing that we're missing is doing the exhaust and doing the wheels and tires. There might be a few things here and there that I'm forgetting, you know. You know, I forgot to, you know, buy this stuff, but I thought I had some, but apparently I didn't. So we'll buy that. Even if we buy an extra spring and stuff, like, it ain't gonna matter, because the next car is probably gonna need it. So, you know, but I mean, we got a lot of it. Having as much repaired as we do now makes me feel pretty confident that we'll be done with this car faster than I thought. You know, I thought, you know, oh, it's gonna take all day to do it. Not really. Most of it pretty much badly damaged, and I didn't really keep track of what parts I needed to buy. So we're just gonna buy them as we need them, I think. You know? So that's really the only way. I mean, the only thing now we got left is, you know, brakes, which, you know, whatever, right? So we got left is brakes, bushings, for the leaf springs, and then U-bolt, and then a little plate on the bottom. You know, hey, if I only forgot the little stuff like that, kind of, you know, that shows you that, hey, I'm getting this thing done fast. Like, I can't believe that, you know, it took me a couple minutes to get a couple of the parts that I needed. Okay, I had to find certain parts, but they don't make performance. They don't make the drums yet. I don't think for these vehicles. I mean, I know they do in real life, but I don't think in this game they don't make those yet. When they do, I'm gonna put them on, but they haven't yet. Need some bushings, and then just put the shock on, and then just put the plate on, and then put the U-bolt, so then all that is kind of bolted up. Okay, so I have to get a couple of U-bolts, that's not a big deal. I have to get some bushings too, so I might as well make it a bolt loader of bushings. Another thing I think I gotta do is I gotta buy a fuel tank, I think, too. Which is not too bad. You know, if we gotta buy a fuel tank, I'm okay with it. If not, whatever. I'm gonna make sure that, you know, we have everything we need for it. But get, you know, everything bolted down. At least suspension-wise, you know. We can do the fuel tank last if we have to, and like the exhaust and so on. You know, we can, those be like the last little button-up things, you know. But other than that, we're doing pretty good. Got most of it rebuilt. I mean, it didn't take me that long. It's surprising. Because it was like, we went, tear it down, and then now it's being rebuilt. And we're halfway through the rebuilding process, I would say, because we got most of the suspension on. And the last thing it's going to have to do is exhaust, fuel tank, and interior and body. All that's not gonna take too long. You know, doesn't take me long to do the body work or anything like that to this car. So that's not too bad. So I mean, it is what it is. You know, if it takes me a few minutes to, you know, get this part, get that part, get whatever, then I'm okay with it. As long as we get it all together and like we're done with it, you know, shouldn't take us that long. So yep, now we have a fuel tank, put the performance pump in, which I think I have one. I think I have one of them in my inventory, I can't remember if I do or not. And yes, apparently I do. So there you go, you got your fuel pump tank. You know, all I gotta do is get the wheels, last part, as well as the exhaust, but we're gonna get the suspension mainly in, which is what I wanted to get done. It's mainly the suspension, finish what we have to on the motor, get the suspension done, get everything mainly installed to where, you know, it's kind of a rolling chassis, but we're getting there. It didn't take us that long to get to a rolling chassis, though. You know, maybe it took a few minutes, you know, it kind of feels like, you know. But, you know, get everything bolted down, make sure everything's tight. That's what we gotta do, is gonna be able to make sure everything's tight and down to the correct sport. Like the torque setting. Oh man, it just sucks when you have to make sure everything's like accurately to where it's supposed to be. Man, that stuff sucks sometimes. But I mean, it's mainly, you know, mainly getting redone. So maybe we just gotta make sure we get the rubber bushings in too. Get that in, you know, get everything pretty much. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, gotta go buy one of those. That's okay. That's at least not, you know, the worst thing that I could have to ever buy. It's okay. I mean, mainly on the rear suspensions, like, I sometimes, like, spend a lot of money on them, but this one I didn't have to spend too much. I mean, we had to spend some, you know, to get everything repaired and whatever, but once you get everything repaired and back together, and you know so many parts you didn't, like, have to buy, like, that kind of helps. I think, because, you know, if we had to stop and wait and buy every single part, that's where, you know, craziness comes in to have, you know, repair everything. But I just want to make sure that I double cross everything off the list that I don't need. That's just how I do it. Like, I double check everything. So if you ever see, like, a spot, like, where, you know, it's, like, on a storefront or a show page or something like that, it's because I'm double checking my list. Like, I literally take a piece of paper, write down everything that we have to work on yet, and then when we're done, then we, you know, just throw away the paper. Yeah, I have to double check things. That's just how I do it in this game. I mean, we're not even into this car, we're not even really into it for that much. Because it was, you know, bought from a junkyard and brought here. So, I mean, you know, that's not going to cost you too much. So it's always going to be dependent on how much you want to spend. You know, like we're doing, we're just going to put out the performance parts that we can in this vehicle. See what it does. It's probably going to be one of the most hard to control vehicles when it comes to rear-wheel drive, and it's got a lot of performance behind it. Basically the rear end will slide out underneath you if you do go on too, like, fast, which is okay. I know how to I've figured out how to fix that problem. It's just, you know, we gotta let off the gas with the brake, you know, with the brake. You hit it too hard, then, you know, you're gonna go to a stop. Figure that out. But at least we got most of the exhaust on. Okay, so I didn't buy the front pipes yet. That should be a problem. I should have bought. And this pipe will be bought. I put on, and then boom. It's pretty much rebuilt all the way from back to front with performance. I don't know if I got that part or not. So I might as well go and buy one. Make sure I have the part. Once we have the part installed, then maybe I'll put on the transmission to get, you know, everything kind of finished on the back end. Because then all I have to do is install a drive shaft to the back, and install a starter, and then, you know, finish all that up. Then the only thing I'd have to wait for is put the oil pan back on it and caps. So, I mean, that's not too bad. Oh yeah, we're gonna go custom gearbox. Oh man, that's gonna be a lot of money spent right there. But, you know, it's all worth it. Because I don't think the stock one, honestly, is much of a price to have. And the way I use it, to send them out, I mean, easy to use custom gearbox. Let's go! That's fine. I just get the performance gearbox, you know. Most of the time it won't take the power. And sometimes even if you use it a performance one, I've noticed, like, in the game, sometimes it still wants to, you know, basically try to spin the tires the same way, but it basically becomes the game like spin tires where you're just spinning in the mud. Well, that's basically what it feels like you're doing. If you make your car too fast, or if you tweak with it too much, that's usually what I find usually ends up happening. But usually where I preset these vehicles, it'll be fine. Now I gotta go buy a starter, and then once I get the starter in, like installed and in, and then after that, we're basically done with it, besides the springs for the front. But you could, you know, move it if you needed to. So it's basically a rolling chassis at this point, you know, minus the wheels, but it's pretty much done. We just gotta put, you know, front half of the motor and top half of the motor together, and let's it back up and do the bottom half, which we can go ahead and do the springs right now, get those out of the way, and then once the springs are out of the way, you know, then we're good, you know. Then it's like, okay, everything's done, you know, we're all, you know, okay with that. And it's basically right now this car, all you got left to do is put wheels on it, and you can move it right now. I mean, that's pretty good. But yeah, I kind of like the performance brakes that they released for this game. They're pretty good. I've noticed that it makes the handling a little bit better. I mean, where it's not gonna like wanna, like when you hit the brakes, I always wanted to like hook left or right. Now it's more like in the middle when you use the performance brakes, which is why I always put those on these types of cars. I only do it in the front, you know, the brown ones, but you know. So basically, you could probably drift this particular car as much as you wanted to, and it wouldn't hurt it a single bit. Not a single bit. I think it would probably help it more than anything if you kind of like drift into the corner a little bit more, but besides that, it's okay. It's perfect the way that it is. Like, it's 100% perfect. I'm okay with this car. But, you know, I don't know how much people want to buy it for, or how much I'm going to sell it for, or anything yet. I haven't really sat down and ran the numbers, but, you know, for as much as we have into it, which isn't really a lot, it's just mainly motor, you know, you need covers and, you know, stuff like that. But other than that, it's not too bad. Just gotta find what I'm looking for. Which usually takes me a minute, and then I usually check my list to make sure that I did that part anyway to begin with. Alright, let's see. See if we can find that one missing part. Alright. Yep, no, I need to go that way, because that's where it is. Okay. Yep, make sure we get the right part. Because I don't want to wait, you know, end up wasting money on a part that I didn't need, and then it's like, oh, well, now I'm stuck with it. You know? So, we'll make sure, double sure, we get everything that we need. Yep. Pistons, that's what I need too. Gonna need, like, power steering, we need, like, all the reservoirs too, I forget. That's the thing they added. Plus all the rock arms. These motors sometimes are not fun to build. Like, it's usually fun, sometimes it's not. It just depends. But that's usually what ends up happening is I gotta, you know, remember that when you rocker arms, belts, like, I'm hoping to get everything done on this motor as soon as possible. So where basically all I got left to do is put the tires on. You know, I mean, we're not getting, you know, too far off from that, though, which is kind of a good thing. All the timing, I'm getting a lot of parts, but, you know, they're all, like, timing-related parts that I don't usually keep in stock, because I'm usually working on these motors a lot, and I don't usually stock up on parts. Well, alright, let's see if we can get the rest of this thing finished up. We shouldn't be too far from being all buttoned up on this thing. I mean, we're only missing a few parts here and there, like, you know, just timing cover and stuff like that. I mean, we're not missing too much on the motor. I mean, the motor's basically built. I mean, we've got the alternator, power steering pump on, we've got all the ignition set for clips and other little, you know, like the water pump and stuff. I mean, but basically the motor's built. Like, all we got left to do is really throw the belts on once we get the one water pump on, and then after that, put the rest of the pistons in, drop the performance heads on, and also put all the rocker arms on. Oh man, it's gonna be fun. We gotta put all the push rod and rocker arms in. That's always the fun part. Not really. Not for this motor. It's not too bad though. And it's not fun, but it's not bad at the same time. So we should get everything done in a couple minutes after that. You know. After that, then we're pretty much basically done. I mean, once we get the reservoirs installed and, you know, start filling up some of the reservoirs, we're gonna be basically done at that point, you know? It's kind of weird. Kind of a weird thing to think about, I guess. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.